All right, so let's start about our lecture two. Today we will discuss about the basic concept about the circuit breaker. But before we start teaching about circuit breaker, let's discuss about how the fault is actually fault current stop to flow in the power system. Right? I'm gonna take an example for you. Right? Say this is your source, all right? So you have a tap here, you have a bus bar here, for example, and we are here. We are connected over here through some circuit breaker, all right? All right, let's forget about circuit breaker first. So at some region, for example, I am here, and at this region, a short circuit fault has been occurred. All right, a short circuit fault has been occurred. So what is the thing? What is the first thing we should do? The first thing, remember, always the first thing. The first thing you should do that whenever a fault is occurred at a particular area or particular region, you have to stop the flow to the fault current. All right, because you see, due to this fault at this situations, the generator is contributing huge amount of fault current. Okay, it's not like that the fault current is flowing only in this region. In fact, the fault current is flowing through the whole region, and the people who are connected in these portions, in other portions over here, they will be also affected by this flow of the fault current. All right, so what is the step we can do? We can isolate these sections. All right, how we can isolate this section? Okay, fine, fault has been occurred here. Let's stop the fault. Let's stop the flow of the fault current to that particular area. So whenever you do that, the generator will then come back to its original positions to supply the nominal load current to the other consumers during the healthy conditions. All right, so always remember that the first thing you have to do, you have to stop the flow of the fault current. How can we stop the flow of the current or flow of the fault current? There are two methods. There are two possible ways. One is practically not feasible, another is we usually do. You see, if I want to stop the current flow in this region, either I will open this option, either I will open these portions of the conductor so that an open circuit is formed between these two portions, and eventually it stops the flow of the current. All right, another second portion, if I stop the generator. So obviously stopping the generating stations is not a particular solution, and we do not follow that, because I believe you are studying power station. So in that course you will learn about some difficulties of starting and stopping the large power stations, especially the thermal power stations. You will learn those things. So yeah, stopping the generating stations is never an option. Rather than we follow that, we will cut out the portions to make an open circuit, and thus we can isolate the faulty sections from the remaining healthy sections of the power system. All right, so this is the thing that is being done by the circuit breaker. All right, you cannot open this contact without the help of the circuit breaker. So what is a circuit breaker? Circuit breaker and relay, remember one thing, circuit breaker and relay, these are two most essential components that uh, they actually used extensively in the power system as a fault clearing device. Okay, so one is circuit breaker, another is relay. Circuit breaker is the thing that actually opens and closes circuit. Very simple. It is just like a moving contact. Whenever it is needed, whenever the system is healthy condition, it will be closed, and it will ensure that the power flow is continue to flow in these directions. Okay, and whenever some abnormalities or whenever some fault is produced here, the circuit breaker actually opens up, creating a open circuit, and thus stopping the flow of the fault current. All right, are you getting my point, guys?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any question after this?
No, sir.
All right, now what is relay? We had discussed that there are two main types of component in the power system. One is power conducting components, and another is control components, or often we say as sensing components. Okay. Now, whether a power system is operating in normal situation or abnormal situation, you cannot understand by looking at it simply. Okay. You have to have some kind of sensing. You have to have kind of sensor in the power system who will determine whether the power system is operating in healthy condition or abnormal condition. Simple it is that. And that particular sensing or sensor is normally called as relay. So relay, if you heard about this relay in the power system, so always assume that this is a sensor, this is sensing device which will determine whether the power system is operating in normal situation or abnormal situation, and according to the decision taken by the relay, it will instruct the circuit breaker. All right. For example, if there is a fault, it will instruct the circuit breaker. Okay, circuit breaker, it's time to open for it because I have sensed some abnormalities. All right. If the relay doesn't sense anything, definitely it will not instruct any circuit breaker to open. Okay. This is how the relay associated relay of the circuit breaker works. Okay. So let us move on. We'll discuss these things in brief, I guess. This is the thing I already have discussed you. Circuit breaker is designed for closing and opening an electrical circuit. Obviously, a circuit breaker is a switching device that interrupts use of abnormal fault current. Obviously, that is the main purpose of using circuit breaker, to stop the flow of the abnormal or fault current. And the third one is quite similar to second one, except that the circuit breaker can be used additionally as a switch. When and how, I'm going to discuss those things. Okay. Do you have any question, guys? Do you have any question? Anybody?
No, sir.
You sure about that, right? Anyone, do you have any question? All right. So let's talk about now the basic function of circuit breaker. For example, uh, let's talk an example again. Again, this is the power system, right? A transformer is connected over here. In both sides, we have some circuit breaker. All right. Now, these transformers need to be maintained at a certain period of time. That may be 1 year, that may be 6 months, that may be 2 years. You know that, right? Because the vital elements or the vital components in the power systems are regularly maintained. Maintained because of what? So that their performance um, or the significant performance in the power system remains okay. That's the purpose. Okay. So I want to do the maintenance of my transformer over here. Okay. So what I need to do? Shall I start opening my transformer when it is connected in the online system? When it is connected when the power is online? No, definitely I should not. Because if I do so, being a maintenance engineer, I'll put my life at risk. So what will I do? I have to make sure that yes, I will touch that transformer whenever the power stops to flow through the transformer, right? So how can we do that? I have the circuit breaker in both sides. So what will I do? I will simply instruct this circuit breaker. Okay, circuit breaker, it's time to open because I want to do the maintenance across this transformer. I will instruct the same thing for the circuit breaker also. I will instruct it manually to open it up so that the power flow stops to flow and I can do the maintenance work on my circuit breakers. Understood? Got the point? Guys, are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, whenever the maintenance is done, the necessity of maintenance is completed, I cannot open this circuit breaker, can I? Because I need to continue the power flow in the customers who are actually connected in these portions of the region, isn't it? So whenever the maintenance is done, what will I do? I will again instruct the circuit breaker to close so that the power flow can continue to flow in the other directions to the consumers, isn't it? So remember how we operate this circuit breaker. We are actually manually operating this circuit breaker as a switch. Whenever we need to turn this on, we turn on the switch. Whenever we need to turn it off, we turn off the switch. As simple as it is. The circuit breaker, we are actually using the circuit breaker in the same manner we use a switch at our household, isn't it? Whenever the maintenance is required, we are just manually turning off our circuit breaker. All right. Whenever we need to, whenever the necessity of power flow is to continue, we are just turning it on. So that means we are actually manually operating on and off the circuit breaker, just like switch. So that is say that among two functions, there are two basic functions of the circuit breaker. Among two, the first one is a switching device. And remember one thing, being a switching device, the operation of the circuit breaker must be manually. Okay. Being a switching device, the circuit breaker normally operates in, or circuit breaker is normally operated in manually. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any question? Do you have any question? Okay, let's take another example. For example, a fault has been occurred across this transformer winding. Okay, a voltage short circuit fault has been occurred across this contact of the transformer. All right. Now, for example, you are a maintenance engineer who is presented 10 minutes away from this transformer. All right. What will happen? So when you are actually getting the point from here that a fault has been occurred across this transformer. So what will you do? You have to open it, right? So there are two ways for you. Either you can go there, you can go near the circuit breaker, you manually turn off the circuit breaker, then eventually the fault can stop to flow. Rest of the things are in later part. What type of fault has been occurred, where the fault is occurred, how to resolve the fault, those are the later issue. The first and main issue, you have to stop the current flow. But remember one thing, you have to spend 10 minutes to reach near the transformer. So if you spend this 10 minutes to go and to manually turn off the circuit breaker, eventually during that period of time, you will lost your circuit breaker, you will lost your transformer, you will lost other equipments, because the amount of fault current is so huge that you cannot, in some cases you cannot even take the risk of flowing the fault current for more than some seconds. Are you getting me? So what the necessity should have been? The necessity should have been like this. Whenever a fault has been occurred here, no matter I reach there or not, this circuit breaker should have been operated to open automatically and stopping the fault current, right? Understood or not? And actually circuit breaker does that, and that is the function we normally term as for interrupting device. So the circuit breaker will operate as an interrupting device when it will deal some abnormal situations, when it will deal some fault conditions. Understood? And the mode of operations must be automatic. I mean, not the closing operation of the circuit breaker, the opening operation of the circuit breaker as a interrupting device must be automatic. All right, because there is no provision for manual opening mechanism over here, because the manual provision may take some time to operate and it may damage even the whole power system and other components. Understood?
Yes, sir.
But always remember, the closing operation must be manual. Because of what? Because this fault need to be resolved. Then you can close the circuit breaker to ensure the power flow. Until the fault presence in this transformer system, you should not close this transformer to continue the power flow, right? Got that point?
Yes,
So
sir.
that is the thing actually said here. That circuit breaker operates as a current interrupting device. It automatically it works as automatically to isolate the faulty sections. Then it is automatic. Operation must be operative, at least opening operations. Okay. So whatever I have said here, it has been written. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask me so that I can answer. Do you have any question? Do you have any question?
No question, sir.
All right. Okay, give me 2 minutes. I want to break 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Just a minute, I have some important call to receive. Okay, let us discuss about the sequence of functions of circuit breaker. That means uh, I have told you that during abnormal situation or during faulty situations, the circuit breaker opens automatically. Okay, now how this circuit breaker actually opens automatically during abnormal situation? That that is actually been done by following some sequential steps, which is sometimes noted as sequence of functions of circuit breaker. Okay, so what is the first sequence of the circuit breaker? Fault occurs, obviously. Then fault occurs, who will understand that whether the fault has been occurred or not. Okay, so this is simply understood by the relay. So it's been written here that relay senses the fault and closes the trip circuit. Trip circuit and trip coil. This is the things I will discuss you in the later part. Trip circuit is such a circuit. Remember one thing, or just for you at this moment, is that trip circuit is the medium that will carry the instruction from the relay to the circuit breaker. Okay, relay cannot call the circuit breaker, right? So what will it do? It will reach its instructions to the circuit breaker via some medium, via some arrangement that is actually known as trip circuit. Okay, understood or not? So after relay senses the fault, it actually closes the trip circuit. That means that is how it actually started to send the information to the circuit breaker. Okay. Now, whenever the trip coil is energized, unless the spring. Okay. Now remember at this point, the circuit breaker contact is normally kept against the spring and it is being less at a contact. Okay. Now, whenever you release this contact from here, the spring is released, right? And the spring is released means the energy that was stored among the spring, it will release, it will started to push the circuit breaker in the upward direction and started opening, right? Okay or not? So that has been said here, trip coil is energized. This is whenever trip coil is energized, it will unlatch the spring where the original spring was connected, and the spring will continue to carry the spring will started to carry a force to the upward direction and thus opening the contact of the circuit breaker. Remember one thing, whenever you are dealing with fault current, whenever you're dealing with fault current over here, this amount of fault current flowing through this contact of the circuit breaker is used. And to this huge uh, fault current, a high magnetic field actually produced surrounding the contact space of the circuit breaker. It does two things. It does actually two things. It prevents the circuit breaker to open easily. That means whenever the spring push the circuit breaker to open it up, the magnetic field will uh, restrike on that. Magnetic field will be barrier on that. The magnetic field will not let that happen easily. That means it is not so easy to open up the circuit breaker until the fault current flows to until the fault current continues to flow. But due to this excessive force, there will be some portions like here. Due to these two interactions, some of the portions of the circuit breaker, it will be open, but the circuit breaker contact will not be fully open. That is, it is supposed to be. All right. rather than it will be open very close portions. Okay. Now you can say, sir, there now the open circuit has been formed here because there is no physical connection between these two contacts because the circuit breaker is slightly open. But there is another issues that comes here. What type of issues? If so, there is nothing in this place means there is actually air, right? And normally we know that air is a insulating material because no power flow, no electricity can conduct through the air. However, you know that air has many particles like oxygen particles, hydrogen particles, nitrogen particles, some other types of gases, vapors, lots of particles, they are actually mixed in air, all right? And due to the high magnetic field that was produced due to high magnetic fault current overhead, they will ionize the air. Ionization will occur the insulating air to turn into a conducting air. Understood? Have you got this point, guys? Guys, are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
So, what will happen then? Rather than an insulating material, then the air will work as a conducting material, and the fault current will flow through this path through the air to these portions. This is called electric arc. All right. Whenever a current flowing through the ionized air, we can visualize this, and this is often known as arc. So the arc that is produced here is nothing but a form of fault current. Okay. So until the arc continues to flow here, you cannot say that you have successfully able to prevent the flow of the fault current. You cannot say that. So in order to stop the fault current, what is the next step? The next step is that you have to extinguish this electric arc. Whenever you will be able to successful to extinguish this electric arc, then a complete open circuit is open. The magnetic field that was produced here, that is disappear, and the circuit breaker is fully open, and thus the fault current is prevented to stop the flow. Understood? Or thus you can say the fault interruption complete. So this is the sixth step, following which the circuit breaker actually automatically stops the flow of the fault current by opening it during an abnormal situation. So what are the steps? Let's talk about again. The first step is fault occurs. The second step is the relay senses the fault, and eventually it closes the trip circuit so that instructions or the decisions taken by the relay is being able to reach to that circuit breaker. Then in the third section, trip coil is energized and unless the spring, then the contact of the circuit breaker starts opening when the spring is unlatched and electric arc is formed due to the ionization of the air, or because of the high magnetic fault current, high magnetic field produced by the high fault current. All right. Now this arc has to be extinguished. We'll learn how this arc is extinguished, when this arc is extinguished. Okay. So it is said the arc is extinguished when AC current is 0. Why it is that? I will discuss those things. Whenever you have been successful to extinguish the electric arc, then your final fault interruption is completed. Okay. Understood? So this is the sequence of the functions of the circuit breaker. Now, if you have any question, you can ask me, or I will end today. Do you have any question? Anyone?
No, sir.
Anyone want to add or clear anything?
No, sir.
All right then. So see you after it. Maybe this is the last class before the 8. Okay. The university is remaining closed from today. Understood? So stay home, stay safe. Okay. Don't go out.
Okay, sir.
See you after the vacation.